Oh, hey, hi, hello, welcome on in. It is Tuesday, so that means we get to be vampires for the evening, which I'm super stoked about. This is episode 16 of our Chronicle Indy by Night Blurred Lines, and the title is The Fruits of Our Labor. So we're going to go around the room, introduce who we're going to be playing this evening. And for everyone at home, we are going to be doing a week time skip after not a week like not strong but like a week long time skip after the events that this coterie had went through last week. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a time skip here, and we're going to keep those off screen so that way people can sort of play it out and sort of RP that out as we go. But we'll go ahead and start with Warren. Who are you playing this evening?
Hi, I'm Warren, and I am playing Marlowe this evening.
Wonderful. Next up, we have Justin.
Hi, I'm Justin. I'll be playing Julian the Malkavian.
Next up, we got Hannah.
Hey, I'm Hannah playing Morgan the Zimitzi.
Morgan, who are you? What happened to Charlie?
Sorry, forgot.
Don't you
So
hate
many
when you
names going
forget
around.
your own
Yes.
alter
This
ego?
is not, I didn't say Eva, okay?
Yeah, you know you're right. You're right. Next up, we have Rob.
Hi everyone, I'm Rob. I'm going to be playing Vincent the Lasombra.
Next up, we have Lennon.
Hello, I'm Lennon, and I'll be playing Kenneth, the Nosferatu.
And last but not least, we have Ian.
Hi, I'm Ian. I am playing Riley, the Toreador.
Last week was a bit of a cluster, an emotional roller coaster, if you will. This plan that started off so well went downhill very quickly. As almost at some points to the silliness of the Three Stooges, as we had a Nosferatu fall out of a church completely silent after a gunshot went off. We had someone texting while gunfire was openly happening, and then getting shot. And then we had people shooting guns into the air, causing everyone to panic and run away. As you guys sort of recuperated, let's see. Victor had the wonderful opportunity of meeting this individual named Nick on the way back to Baron Fairfield's to provide the information over to him. And the rest of you guys were able to go ahead and have a small conversation prior to heading into Fairfield with Max, the Nosferatu. But as you guys had a conversation, you guys were dealt with rather quickly for providing the final death on someone and receiving a bullet to the stomach for Charlie and Riley. Something for you guys to heal through and think about, but nothing too permanent. And then after that, you guys went and had a separate conversation about where you guys had found these individuals. As a doctor was looking over each one of them, or someone who was trained in medicine, I should say, was looking over each one of them and seeing, one, if they were okay, but two, to see how many of them were actually kindred. After a test, the meeting was slightly interrupted as this medical professional walked in and advised that only one of them, Fanny, was kindred. And Baron Fairfield quickly said to let everyone sort of feed upon the remaining of them to dispose of what was left. Unfortunately enough, you guys did let Fairfield know that the murder van was sitting in his parking lot, which he was not a huge fan of. And that some of you may or may not have been caught on camera before hopping into the van and bringing it here.
Circumstantial.
of course. All of you, though, decided to take this opportunity to lay low for a little bit and hopefully let some of this heat die off that Fairfield had warned you about. And each of you did something in this downtime week to sort of pursue or further your own place in this terrible, terrible world that you guys have found yourself in. And that's sort of where we're picking up. It is the next morning, like I said, a week after everything went through. So we'll go ahead and start with a rouse check for this evening for everyone to kick off where we're at for tonight. Before we do that, you have something that I need, Vincent. I need a remorse check for your activities, as your activities have costed you 2 stains against that humanity of yours.
Just wasn't doing it enough on screen, so I had to do it a little bit during my downtime.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
he apparently felt bad.
Barely, but apparently enough that at least a single tear was shed after this has been completed. So that has gone through. Those stains have been now removed. Congratulations. You do not lose any more of humanity for now.
Unfortunately, a rouse check of a 10 on waking up is not as bad as it is on most of my other stuff.
Exactly. So we're going to
I'm
go
feeling
around
good. This week was a good thing.
around the room. Anyone happen to gain any hunger? Or are we all still sitting pretty at 1?
I have 2.
I have gained hunger, although perhaps my off-screen activities might have also reduced it by 1. Hard to say.
Hard to say indeed. Okay. So, each of you receive a text message, a post-it note, or something from Julian asking to sort of meet up and sort of discuss what the future of this group is sort of looking like, and asks to meet. Julian, is there anywhere in particular you would like this coterie to meet?
Oh, I mean, everybody knows where I live. They've all been to the house, so
Perfect.
and it's large enough space to accommodate everyone.
You would get a text back from Vincent that says, put some tea on if you don't mind.
In like semicolon, thumbs up, semicolon, enter.
In my head, those words are spelled out like Julian did voice to text.
Yes.
Totally, dude.
That's hilarious. Is there anything anyone would like to prep prior to arriving at Julian's?
I think I'm set. Yeah, no, I'm ready to go.
I think at this stage of the game, Vincent's gun just lives in his glove box, and like it's no longer I'm gonna make a choice to bring my gun to this. It's like, no, we're gonna go deal with the coterie. I'm gonna bring something.
Something dumb is gonna
Gotcha.
happen. I should bring a gun.
Now I've got 2 problems.
Exactly.
Now 2 dumb things will happen.
If I don't hear back from anyone, I'm just going to assume they're coming. So
Yeah, you'll get like the thumbs up reaction to the text from Riley.
Charlie will just show up.
I have so many snarky things I want to text people on the side, but they're not things I can text.
When you guys arrive, Julian seems more invigorated, more youthful. Like his hair's combed different. He's wearing clothes that match.
No. My guess would be either you have a new partner, or you did something that you're going to blame on Nick.
No, Nick helped me with this.
So Nick is your new partner.
No, Nick's not my partner. Nick's my friend.
Wink.
Nick helped me
Okay.
too, just for the record. Nick was a cool guy.
But yeah, he said, like there's a certain, you gotta strut, basically, is what it came down to. So,
I could have told you that for free.
and I'll activate awe. Handsome Squidward appears.
I'm not mad. I'm just confused. You had the ability to just be hot all the time and you weren't just using it.
I had no clue, and I don't really look at it as being hot. This comes in handy when I hunt. Come on in.
Thanks. I'm glad we had this exchange in the door. Uh,
Well, you were just like kind of awkward and started asking a lot of weird questions. So,
but you look good. I'm proud of you.
thank you. You look good too for a guy who's been for a person who's been shot twice.
Well, you know what? What is it? Shot once, twice shy? No, what is it for shot twice, 4 times shy?
I don't know.
I don't know. It
I
really
didn't put
wasn't
out
that bad.
snacks
It's,
because the kind of snacks we enjoy wouldn't be appropriate. So
if anybody's upset, let them be upset.
okay.
Yeah.
See Vincent as he's pulling up, kind of give a wave.
So Vincent's not alone in the car, and steps out of the passenger seat, and returns the wave. And as he approaches the house, he's doing whatever the opposite of strutting is. Like he's distinctly walking in a like, yeah, I don't really want to be noticed kind of fashion. And when he gets to the door, he says, "Hey, so I brought somebody in the car. They're trustworthy, but you have the tea on?"
Yeah, the tea's on. Is it okay if maybe they wait in the car for now until we've all had a chance to kind of talk? I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable about a set of ears they don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind that at all. But they are one of the things I want to talk about. He, his name's Simon. He was a partner of mine when well before, and is going to be again. So
Oh,
Partner or partner? Because it feels like this is a theme in our group right now.
like would show up on the business card, not on the invitation.
Oh, okay,
Gotcha.
cool. I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
it was like a mazel tov or like a congratulations on starting a small business kind of thing.
Yeah, that one. But we already sort of
Okay.
had the small business. We're just kind of expanding.
Huh. I don't know the right response for that other than, huh? Uh,
Anyway, we can talk about
Yeah.
it more inside. But I'll just bring him a cup of tea, and he'll be. I'm confident that he'll be fine sitting in the car.
I've got travel cups, upper left cabinet in the kitchen, above the
can
stove.
I incite that? That feels real fucking weird.
Yeah. Wits plus insight.
That just I'm sure he'll have no problem waiting in the car. Just that seems strange to me. Insight plus
Wits.
what? Plus wits. Two.
I mean, I'm not like trying to be coy about it, Bruce. I don't know what you want to set the
No,
difficulty to.
no. I mean, it's literally going to be 2. I mean, no, it's they will not have any sort of concerns just sitting in the car. Seems very, very forward, very straight about it.
Vincent also seems very comfortable with the idea that this person might come in here and hear secrets.
All right.
All right, well, I'm gonna head inside. Talk to you in a bit.
Roughly about this time, you do see Kenneth and Charlie both sort of show up, not together, but one sort of right after the other.
I'll give Kenneth a firm handshake. Welcome.
Hey,
Good to see you again. Going in, don't have a lot of snacks, but you know.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm just not injured anymore, so I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're looking a lot better.
Yeah,
I mean,
from
know,
what can heal anyway. Yeah,
Oof.
rough.
sorry about that. I will take a point of willpower damage for
Yeah, that's fair.
putting my foot in my mouth.
Depends. How fast was that? It might be superficial physical
It was
damage.
Mach 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely superficial health damage, please.
Charlie, welcome.
Hey,
Hey, it's good to see you.
nice outfit.
Thanks. I like your jacket. That's is that new?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it
Is your
suits you.
outfit new? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, just trying something different. Got some good advice from a friend. So,
Well,
but yeah,
I'm glad you have somebody to talk to.
yeah, that jacket really, I don't know, heightens your complexion. Really makes it kind of glow.
The paleness glows.
Well, I mean, it's working for you though.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the compliment.
Yeah, go on inside.
Um,
Almost everybody's here. We're just waiting on Marlo.
Perfect. I'm gonna go in, have a seat on the sofa.
When Charlie does come in, Riley's gonna lean over and go, "So the guy who can see the future wants to talk about the future. Explain it."
I'm a little concerned
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Mhm.
Did you see the get up?
Well, he looks fucking great. I'm suspicious.
I'm not saying he doesn't look great. It was more of he hasn't and now he does and he wants to talk about something that yeah.
I smell a surprise wedding or some sort of MLM pitch.
A wedding.
I don't know. He's dead. We're dead. We're the only people he might know in this kind of world. So he gets a girlfriend, and suddenly they're getting married, and he's like, "I gotta invite the 6 people I know."
How many people do you know that are undead that get married?
I don't know. Love's weird.
Yes, you're right, but anyway, that's beside the point.
If it's an MLM,
I don't think
I'm
that.
so in. By the way, that sounds hysterical.
Yeah, I could definitely see being in on that.
I don't know. Doesn't seem like Julian's kind of scheme. Riley, is there any kind of wardrobe change that you would find not suspicious?
Good point. All of you, present company included. If you just showed up wearing a suit one day, I would be concerned.
Got it.
As you say this, just like a rat just crawls like right out of like Kenneth's coat and just onto the table.
Pet or actual pest?
Pet, don't worry.
Okay, then that's adorable. I hate it, but I love it. I'm conflicted.
Mixed
Hey.
feelings.
Hey, Riley,
Mm-hmm.
your clan bane is currently active.
I hate it.
What if the rat's wearing a suit?
If the rat's wearing a suit, the jury's out. I need to see the suit. Is it tailored?
Well,
His little
where do you
top
think you
hat.
get an off-the-shelf rat suit?
It does have a little top hat.
Okay, no,
Yes.
I'm in. I'm in.
Clan bane
That's
passed.
that is a fancy lad.
But are you more sus of the rat than of Julian is the question.
That is a good question.
Equally, differently.
That's fair. Fair.
Julian, why am I here and why do you look good? You look great. I'm not mad. You look great. The rat, where the fuck did you get that suit? That's awesome.
Marlo, roughly about this time's when you sort of arrive at the door as well.
No rat in a suit for me.
That's fair.
Ah, damn.
Marlo.
Anyone who showed up
friend.
after Vincent, by the way, would see like a guy in his mid to late 40s who's sitting behind the wheel of Vincent's car drinking a cup of tea.
It's a weird thing to be drinking in the car.
Well, it's a travel cup, so it's okay.
Yeah. It's not like a.
Oh, I was expecting
Not like a
full
saucer.
tumbler.
Yeah. I want that way more now, though.
Pinky out. Marlo, you're the last to arrive, but welcome.
Oh, I didn't mean to be late. Thanks for having us. Is
Yeah,
everything
no
okay?
problem. Yeah, everything's great.
Riley said you're here to sell us Tupperware?
No, it's jeggings.
I'm out. You hear from inside, like in the living room.
No, I just thought it would be good for us to kind of regroup and maybe have some real discussion.
That's great. Let's do that.
All right. I'll open
Is
the door.
Nick
and-
coming? We never really got a chance to talk about.
No, he's
We
been
can
coming
definitely-
by a couple times this week, so he said to say hi. But yeah, he's not really part of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So, after you.
Hey, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Boo. Everybody boo this man for being late. Nobody? Okay.
No.
Just me.
Yeah. Sorry, you stand alone there.
Okay. So I just thought, kind of after the way everything kind of went down with the last thing we did, and us managing to survive that. I know some of us worse for wear. Glad to see that you've all recovered from the injuries you sustained. But I thought maybe we would be a good time for us to really kind of, I don't know, outline some ways we act towards one another and kind of figure out what it is we're doing if this is what we're doing. Because I guess it all stems for me a lot from confusion about what are our aims and goals. I mean, we're called a coterie, right? So I guess I'm trying to understand what our purpose is, what we do. Are we helping people? Just to kind of have some clarity, so I kind of know where I fit in um, to this whole thing.
This is adorable. You got all dressed up to ask us to put a label on us.
I mean, that's one way to look at it.
Oh my god, you're cute.
Well, thank you, Riley.
Hmm.
To answer the question, I would say I think that what we are is
Dating.
adrift in a sea of predators and clinging together to make sure that we don't end up getting picked off.
Okay. Does
Dating.
anybody else have thoughts different than Vincent's? Or does everyone pretty much agree with that sentiment?
I think the sentiment is accurate enough. I'm just curious how, if any of us have actual plans, goals, that kind of stuff, aspirations, how those stack up next to each other.
Sure. I mean, we're in a new world that has like a power structure, right?
Right.
Sucks to be at the bottom.
Eh,
I'd like to be somewhere other than that.
yeah, no. Actually, I would like to not be at the bottom of that power structure sooner than later, as ambitious as that might be.
What's the benefit of moving up that power structure from your
Protection.
perspective?
Protection,
Uh,
power, the ability to
Per-
do things that we want to do without having people get in the way.
Okay, so what is it that you want to do, Vincent? I just want to make sure that I have a clear understanding of what your goals are. So I know that they align with mine, or that we can make them work together. You know what I mean? That we can work in tandem to achieve our individual ends.
Sure. I mean, I would say more or less, I'm just trying to have the ability to live my life and do whatever I want, frankly. Uh, before I would have said something like retire on a desert island with a mountain of money, but the sun sort of sucks now, so
So is the goal still to amass wealth so you can move away and live in not luxury, but live a life, a quiet life that is peaceful?
sure. Yeah.
Is there other components to that that happen in the middle that we might all want to be aware of so we don't inadvertently get in your way, step on your toes? Um,
I mean, I don't know how the rest of you feel about this, but somebody killed me. I'd really like to balance the ledgers.
okay. So part of your motivation is revenge.
Yeah.
That's valid.
Okay.
I'll
Kenneth?
be honest, I'm
Oh,
less inclined to go find who did this to me. I know who did this to me, but it was kind of I was mortal on borrowed time for a long time, so I don't carry that same kind of animosity, but I can understand it. So I'm on board with you there, Vincent. Like if I can be supportive or helpful in that for you, I will to the best of my ability. I'm sorry, I jumped in the middle of somebody.
no, you're fine. Kenneth, what are your kind of
Yeah.
thoughts on what you want to achieve with your unlife and how we might be able to help you facilitate that?
I don't know that I'm big on revenge. If I figure out who killed me and I can do something about that, that's cool. Not against it, but it's not a big motivator. I guess I'd prefer to get more well adjusted, find more kindred like me, figure out how things work around here. We're kind of figuring that out and figure out how to go from there. So I wouldn't call all of us friends, but if I can't trust the five of you to some extent, I don't know who I can trust.
Fair. Charlie, your thoughts?
Well, I agree with basically what everybody has been saying. I don't kind of like Kenneth. I don't have like a revenge per se to go after whoever did this to me, but I guess right now my biggest thing that I want to do, which maybe it wouldn't take long, maybe it would, um, is to just have a relationship with my sister again. And so I feel like I'm kind of just working towards that. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard to trust everybody out there, but I mean, this is what I got. And um, I think at this point we all just need each other to help get where we need to go. And I'm willing to do that um, to a certain extent, as long as there's like some parameters on it.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Could you kind of define what you mean by to a certain extent? Like, what lines will you not cross?
Um, I mean, I don't want to just like kill people to kill people. If that makes sense.
Sure,
Um,
I understand
I
that.
I obviously have. If you hadn't figured that out by the last week of what happened, um, but it it wasn't by choice in a sense. It was it wasn't like anybody was going to be able to stop me from doing what I did. And if you don't know what happened, well, I'm sure you can figure it out by now. So anyway, just
I
figured I
don't
would.
need the details. But I kind of get the gist.
Yeah. So yeah.
Marlo,
Yeah, I think everything you guys are saying makes a lot of sense. But for me, it's we can live forever. I don't really want to spend every night trying to figure out how to not get killed by a baron or picked up by people who want to drain my blood. Let's get stable. That's my short-term goal. As far as what I won't do to get there, I think we need to work on not attracting attention. It seems like there's a lot of people who, if we make too big of a splash, are going to want to tear us down.
I mean, I think attention could be good in certain scenarios. We just
the right kind of attention, sure.
fucked it up the last time.
I mean, we're coming to learn a lot of things. Nobody sat us down and sort of explained how things can go incredibly, incredibly sideways.
I think lesson number one that I took away from that is don't do anything hungry.
Yes, agreed.
And in
That's
case my meaning's not clear, I will let you know I have begun to feed. A friend of mine really kind of pointed out some real eye-opening things, especially after I kind of relayed some of the events of how things got so out of control, and made me realize that I can't skate that edge. I'm resilient, but it's a lot stronger than me right now. And until I can figure out a way to overcome it, I just have to do it in a way that's moral.
I don't know how to say this without sounding pedantic. I don't know what the right word is, but like, I'm sorry that it came to that for you, but I'm also very proud of you.
I mean, it was only a matter of time. I was skating that edge far too often, and um, you know, I didn't want to hurt somebody I care about because I was riding that line, trying to stick to something that I had no honest chance of achieving.
It's valid.
So,
Either way, that sucks, but I'm proud of you. Like, welcome to it in the nicest way. Uh,
well, at least I'm giving them something in return.
What about you,
So
Julian?
yeah.
What are your goals?
To overcome
To overcome what?
my curse. It's very interesting. I've been reading through some of the books and came across this ancient Sumerian tome from probably the 1100s. Luckily, the transcription was well done, and just really talked about some individuals who managed to kind of tame the beast, even to the point where they could walk in the sun again. That's my goal.
that's heavy.
It's worth pursuing. For me.
Sure. Sure. I mean, sounds ambitious, but I guess to Marlo's point, we've got the time.
Exactly. I mean, I figure if I can, and I guess, I guess that comes back to the other question, like achieving power, are we doing that to help others? Are we doing it to help ourselves? I mean, feathering one's own nest only goes so far. I don't want to be a monster that just consumes and attains and clamors for power and tries to take everything that I can and eats. I want to give back in some way. I want to be useful to society at large.
Sure.
I know that's hard to understand, probably coming from the perspective that we're fucking monsters now who crave human blood, but I just I don't know. I see the games the Barons play, and I'm not about it. You know, the rant and rave was, I don't know, just such an obsequious use of authority and just a big pomp and circumstance for murder. I mean, it was
jerk off session.
precisely. I couldn't have put it better, Riley. It was like a giant. What Riley said.
Coward.
Come from a different time, Riley.
um, if I can chime in here, I do understand you. To be able to exist and to create a community and support the people that are close and the people who look up to is ideal, I think, in any situation. I hope that it's not an eye roll or anything like that for me to say that my goal is to matter. My goal is to feel like I have some sort of say on my life at this point, given that the majority of my mortal existence was not that. Um, I'm not a huge fan of the way in like the less than a month that we've been in this existence. I'm not a huge fan of how powers that be choose to be. Um, so as conceited or full of myself as it might sound, I would love to take a stab at becoming them to make a change that way. Because you can only change what you can attain. So to be able to attain that would mean actually helping implement change. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Again, I don't want to sound like I'm the biggest and the greatest and all these things, but like I can aspire to be.
Sure. And you know, if your goal is to do good in this world and make life easier for our kind and mortals alike, then yeah, I'm right there behind you.
There are people who will try to stop us, no matter how altruistic
Oh,
our
I
goals.
understand. I mean, we're monsters. It only makes sense.
I mean,
And even within the monsters, we're going to face threats from within and from our own kind.
Mhm.
But that's why strength in numbers.
Right, that's kind of why I wanted to bring us together, because it seemed like there was a lot of tension between all of us last time. You know, a lot of things went really, really wrong. A lot of heightened emotions.
It was a rough night.
There's one thing that I could ask from all of us is that we never use our abilities on each other without permission.
My bad. And I'll turn awe off.
Well, no, that's not. I mean, you know, that's kind of more like a filter for us than
Oh.
it is like an abuse of power. I mean, like changing someone's mind, say, against their will, something like
Fair.
that. This is a mutual respect thing, and we agree not to do that to one another. Like, I don't try to wipe your mind about something shitty I did.
The last thing that we need to worry about is some sort of like Charles Xavier bullshit.
Or just anything, you know. I mean, and I understand if you're out of control, if the beast takes over, whatever. and somebody gets hurt. That's different. It's a different set of circumstance.
So far, everything I can do is pretty direct, so the
Right.
applications there are obvious.
So I know. Actually, before I even say that, Bruce, would I, in my experience in my mortal life or through any sort of politics that I've been able to pick up passingly or passively, would I have any idea how the concept of like taking and holding territory works? In the
In-
way of like
Intel plus
you
politics.
have the support?
Intel plus politics, DC3.
Okay.
Oof.
Okay, well, I rolled it just to you by accident, but it was 5.
Perfect. Yeah.
Not
For the most part, because especially of your relation to your previous employer, he was very happy to brag about his ability to hold his territory for as long as he did.
Okay.
And that's why he was able to be a baron.
Okay. um, from my outside looking in understanding, the process of becoming one of the powers that be lies in the ability to do it. As goofy as that sounds, like a spot opens up, you can kind of stand up and go, "Hi, this is mine now." And if anybody wants to come challenge you for it, they can. But if you can hold it, it's yours. And within your territory, kind of what you say goes. That's why our big three can act the way that they do. Because like, who's gonna stop them in their own home? You know what I mean? I would hope that that means for us that we could potentially stay close, be close, and cover each other's blind spots. So that way, should one of us be in a position to go, I'm the biggest and the meanest, come fuck about it. I've missed a word in there, fuck around about it.
No, I think you hit it right on the head for Riley.
Yeah, pretty much. That we would be a force to be reckoned with. That there's the understanding that you kick the hive, everybody shows up, kind of thing. I don't know if I'm talking in circles or what, but
So, is there like a territory map that we can see so we make sure we're not claiming something that's already been claimed?
not right off, but it's not hard to get those directions. It's not hard to figure out where those boundary lines are. We know roughly the size of Fairfield's territory. We know that Eva has downtown. We can get better ideas on that. And we know that Derek is out wherever the hell Derek is.
Us being under Baron Fairfield, does that mean our territory automatically becomes part of his domain?
That is part of the politics of it. Because he exists, if we were to go somewhere outside of his territory and go, this is ours, the politics would be, do we have support from him for him to go, yeah, you can have that? Because I
Is
would
it like
assume
a
an existing
mafia
baron,
kind of structure? We got to kick up to the dawn.
kind of, at least at first.
What do we kick up?
What does he need?
Well, maybe that's the
way
first
I-
question we need to answer.
The way I understand it is it's a little feudal. It's closer to if your lord
Like-
calls for your armies, you provide them.
Yeah.
So we don't have
And-
like a required tithe.
Not right off rip. It could become a thing, but it's not right now.
Okay.
I wish there was a more straightforward answer to that.
No, it's all new to us. So
But as far as that goes, like the first step would be getting Fairfield on board with us.
I think
Because
that's going to require some work.
yeah, but if we can get him on board to say, you know what, you're cool. This 2-block radius is yours. And like that's the hunting grounds. You know what I mean? Like it's not ours to do with as we see fit, but it's ours.
So what's everybody's read on Fairfield? Where's his leverage points? What can we tweak, or what problems can we solve for Fairfield that will earn us his gratitude?
That's a tough one.
Well, he's definitely egocentric, and he's
Yes.
definitely a hothead.
I think that's a
And
nice way of saying it.
He's
The
not
impression that
opposed.
I got was that he's not the strongest of the three. Ooh.
Mm.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, we did it. Fine. Life is good.
The impression that I got is that he's not the strongest of the three, and that there's a lot that's going on that's maybe out of his control or out of his knowledge. So, could be that he needs help with learning about what's going on. One of his own people was doing the abducting thing, right? So,
One of
think-
his like important people was doing the abducting thing.
Well, I think it would they say the dogs? One of the dogs? I don't know. There's all the terminology's Greek to me. But maybe we can solve two birds with one stone. Perhaps we can get some intelligence through Charlie's sister, giving Charlie an opportunity to reestablish a connection with her.
I don't want this to be overstepping, and I'll look at Charlie. I tried.
You tried.
So, gonna look at Charlie for this part. I went and I talked with Eva. Was trying really hard to get her to be cool with you seeing your sister again. And she's not hearing it. At the moment, I offered what I thought was a pretty good deal. And she's just not about it. I don't know what the deal is. She's pretty cagey. I guess if you were the Baron also you would be. I don't know. But just and then to the rest of the room, I don't think that's an angle at the moment.
I mean, maybe it could be just not me being involved.
Kind of all the angles there were pretty shut down. We know you, so no.
I mean, potentially, if you want to think of it this way, Derek knows me, so is that a no for him too?
Different rules, different players.
So then we just have to find the right players.
Well, and also Derek might want something that we don't want to give.
I think your assessment on Fairfield is right. I think he's the weakest link of the three of them with the ego and the temper. Just on a political and like relationship basis, I think Derek might be the easier one to actively work with.
But don't we then? And I'm just throwing this out there. I mean, aren't we playing a dangerous game, going to curry favor with a Baron who's either actively working with the other Baron or is in his own position keeping things away from Fairfield. I just kind of feel like that's cutting off our
It's
nose to
bold.
spite our face, because with the bucket of shit we're in with Fairfield right now, um, I feel like we're just kind of being looked at to just fuck up one more time, because it's not like we've proven ourselves particularly useful.
But would Fairfield even know what's going on?
I don't know. I don't know how in touch Fairfield is, and I don't know. Wormy Joe could be sitting in my living room and we wouldn't know it unless we were looking.
Oh, hey, that reminds me. Did I? I don't remember. Did I pass the hood off at the meeting? I think I still have the hood.
You at least put it down in front of Fairfield, but I believe you said you wanted to snatch it up before
If
leaving.
I could have, I would have. So in that case, I'm gonna reach down under my shirt collar and pull up the hood and just take a look around the room.
Yeah. Look around the room, and just the people that are present are there.
Cool. I mean, at the moment, we're fine.
That's what I'm saying. I don't. We haven't really met a lot of Fairfield's retinue, not on a one-on-one basis. We don't know what their capabilities are. And I could be being completely paranoid here. I'm completely willing to admit that. I just feel like we either actively work at toppling Fairfield to make room for Riley to step into that position, or anyone else who wants to throw their hat in the ring, um, or we work with the Baron we got to try to get him to be. Because also, the other thing you got to look at is if we betray him right out of the gate, who's going to trust us? Like, it's one of those things. If you betray your master, is your new master going to trust you not to betray them?
I don't
I
think
don't.
we need to be barons. I'd just like to have
Oh,
friends.
it's not
I'm just
Riley
Preferably,
talking
we're
about
going with
what
that.
Riley was saying. Riley is that's his their end goal is to get to be that position. Am I correct in
sure.
that?
Yeah, eventually, I would love to have that kind of. If it's not exactly a barony, then to be elevated and on the Baron's staff.
I just look at it from the position of, if I was looking for a mark, if I'm Derek and I'm looking for a mark who can do damage to my enemy, I'm going to use them to execute whatever plan I want. And then when the heat gets too high, I'm going to throw them under the fucking bus. They're my scapegoat.
Hmm.
They're the person who's going to get slaughtered, not me. So I think us seeking other barons to go work for actively against our baron is a huge mistake.
I
Julian, thank God. When we were talking earlier, I thought that you and I thought totally different, and that was just was such a surprise for me. And I'm so glad to hear you talking. Like, yeah, no, I know you get this stuff. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Yeah, no, we can't. We'd make ourselves the cutaway. We'd make ourselves
Exactly.
the fall person.
and my thought on that is, why do we have to do it sneaky? Why can't we get the blessing of Fairfield to, I don't know, envoy, whatever you want to call it, between us and Brink?
If I was Fairfield, I wouldn't trust us to carry my jockstrap.
Valid.
Roughly about this time, you hear at the front door. There's a series of knocks.
I'll get that. I'll walk over to the door.
Is that your tea guy?
I'm gonna come with Julian.
I'll open the door. Can I help you?
What you see before you is a woman in a very nice sort of pinned up suit, black hair sort of tied up in a high ponytail, and a card that she hands over. Hi, my name is Mrs. Chen.
Oh, okay.
You've been requested to join us at the Opera House.
Join who?
Me and My boss and benefactor.
And that would be?
She just sort of smiles and looks down at the card.
I'll glance at it.
It just has a picture of a black arachnid on the front of it.
Oh, shit. Well, your timing couldn't have been better.
I'm
Please,
aware.
Come in.
She takes a second and stops and sort of looks around.
I'm
For-
glaring over her shoulder at
Yeah.
Simon. Like, how are you letting somebody just walk up without beeping the horn or something? God damn it.
You look
There's
over.
blood all over the inside of the windshield.
You look over, and Simon's just staring straight forward.
I guess. Does he seem like he's been dominated or something like that?
He's not sitting in a relaxed state that he was prior, so you definitely get some effect has probably been put onto him.
Friends, we are going to be taking a field trip. We have been cordially invited to Miss Chen. Is that correct?
I'm
Not
just
so cordially.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no guns or sword through my throat, so I'd say that's
No.
cordial. To go
Yes.
to an opera house and meet with her benefactor. And I'll pass the card around.
Miss Chen, please play nice with my people.
I haven't done anything to anyone. She just sort of smiles. But I can assure you that your person is fine.
So, the opera house. Last time we saw this symbol led me to believe that the people who were behind it might not be kind to us.
I can guarantee you on my unlife that you guys will enter and exit this meeting unharmed. Simply just a conversation.
Now, I have to ask, because I couldn't sleep with myself if I didn't. What if we say no?
Which we're not doing, by the way.
Of
No,
course,
I'm just
no,
asking
of course,
a question. Yeah,
of
just a
course, of
question.
course.
Just making sure that we're all on the.
No, I would let my benefactor know, and I'm sure a second attempt would be made at a much harsher request.
I definitely am rolling insight and wits
Mm-hmm.
on the. Does she mean that we'll walk out okay?
Yeah, of course.
I got 4 hits. So.
Oh, 4, that is plenty. Um, yeah, she seems very, very honest and truthful. Her tone seems very professional, and almost like business professional, almost lawyer in her tones that she's using. But seems very matter of fact and seems very genuine on the fact that you guys would leave or enter and leave without harm.
I think I'm
Wow.
underdressed.
What's that?
I think I'm underdressed for the opera.
Well, he bought out the whole building and the opera's performing, so I think you'll just be just fine.
All right.
Okay, sure.
Are we going now?
Charlie? Marlo?
She looks down at, she pulls her sleeve back a little bit and exposes a very, very nice watch. I could give you guys an hour if you would like to prep, and then meet me at the downtown at the Murrah Theater.
I mean, does everybody need an hour?
Nope.
Vanity says yes, but I can make.
But it didn't really come dressed for the opera.
So we do need an hour. I need to make sure that Marlowe looks the part.
Marlo can dress
Marlo
himself, but yes.
looks the part.
Miss Chen, is your benefactor someone who cares about clothing?
No, he's gonna be overseeing the conversation, but he's not gonna be the one speaking.
Okay. So I don't think we need to worry about it. I think my personal vote is let's just get this over with.
Valid.
I love that. Efficiency. It's very good.
Okay, so do we drive ourselves, or do you have a stretch limo or?
I do have a couple of SUVs outside. No, you don't have to if you feel uncomfortable. Again, we're here to have a business conversation, not to threaten. So if you feel unsafe entering in those vehicles, understandable, and you guys are more than welcome to drive separately if you would like to meet me there.
It's rude to reject hospitality.
No offense taken. Again, we're here to hopefully make amends.
That I'll kind of look back at everybody like.
Yeah, I think let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Wait, what about the
way
dude
out,
in the car?
car
She
guy.
sort of
you-
looks towards Vincent. Your pet is allowed to come if they would like.
When will they recover from their situation?
As soon as I snap.
Okay.
So they can recover
Well,
before we leave and join us, or they can recover afterwards if you would like this to be a conversation that never occurred to them.
I would like to have him able to act independently while we're gone,
Understood.
but
Sh-
he'll keep.
It literally extends her hand outside the door and snaps.
I'm gonna make a roll.
He's of his own volition.
I'm going to go and explain to him that we'll be gone for a little bit, and I'll meet you all by the vehicles.
Understood.
I'll get in whatever vehicle Miss Chen gets in.
As soon as she
On the
comes up
way-
to the second vehicle, the driver actually gets out, opens the back door for Mrs. Chen, and she doesn't sit and slide. She sits, and the door is shut behind her. But there's other doors you are more than welcome to enter into. Riley, you said you wanted to go ahead and make a roll.
Yeah. The term pet, I'm trying to figure out if that's a frenzy or just like a resolve kind of shit, because that's a real big word for Riley
Yeah.
in this context.
Composure plus resolve.
Well, thank you. Is there a DC to it or not?
DC is gonna be 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So
need it.
you it irks you for sure. But doesn't incite a frenzy or anything of that nature.
Cool. Okay. On the way out the door, I do want to kind of swing by Marlo and just, hey, I wasn't trying to insinuate anything. I was more just excited to take the chance to help find cool clothes for somebody else.
Oh,
So-
you know what? I that's very kind of you, and we should definitely go shopping. I have some
Oh.
cash, and I could use a wardrobe update.
I would be so down, but I was not intending to sound like an asshole. So I'm sorry.
No apology needed, but thank you.
Okay. Yes. To the opera.
There's a sentence I wasn't expecting to say today.
Nope. And I will find a spot wherever there's a spot, whichever car.
As you guys,
Ken, did you get your rat? Did you get your rat?
Oh, of course, yeah, he's right here.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. Yeah, no, not
Yeah.
leaving without him. Are you kidding?
Yeah. Don't want to lose the cheese boy.
Yeah, no. Top hat's too expensive.
you go ahead and you make a relatively quick drive down to the Marat Theater. There is a smaller parking lot that is does have a large travel bus that is parked out back of it. But other than that, you do see a couple of more additional of these black SUVs that are parked in the parking lot. But nothing else really, as these cars sort of park up right next to those ones.
I think I'm basically waiting for Miss Chen to lead, and I'm just planning on following her.
Whenever it's socially acceptable to turn awe back on, I will.
Okay.
I'm making sure that hood is tucked real good into the collar of my shirt.
This is when Riley enters, or I'm going to guess re-enters their goth phase.
It's very bold of you to assume that Riley ever left their goth phase.
It's not a phase. We just grow up and acquire different clothes.
Looking at their style, I would say, yeah, they've yet to outgrow it.
And not like a typical opera theater where there's different boxes and stuff on the left and right side, you know. But there is like a upper section that has a mezzanine that sort of cuts through it, and then the lower section. In the lower section, well, you can see that there is an active opera taking place currently as you guys walk in. As you guys sit down, there is one person that's sort of sitting by themselves in the entirety of the bottom section. And as you guys sort of look around, you do see that there are 4 people at the top, one in each corner of the upper section, and then one person in the middle, each one of them all wearing these black masks that you guys saw at the church.
Anybody I recognize?
Yes, you do recognize the person sitting by themselves, as X is sitting there by himself watching the opera.
But any of the people in the masks?
None of the people in the masks up top. I take that back. You looked at the computer while you're at the church, yes?
No.
No? Okay. Then no, you do not recognize anyone.
I was not there. Not who I was expecting.
I hate this. And that guy. Fuck that guy.
Let's
Riley,
maybe
take a deep
express that later.
Yeah, that's my bad.
As the opera continues going, Mrs. Chen sort of opens her hand, almost gesturing you towards X.
Do you have like a program? Like what's the
The
so I can tell them?
the show's about to be halted once you guys sit down, so.
Shame. All right.
But you guys are more than welcome to enjoy the piece afterwards, which then I can. find a program for you.
I guess business then. Walk down, sit what feels like a socially acceptable distance away from Max. I'm going to assume not right next to him, but maybe a seat or two.
Excuse me.
I like the image of us all just walking in like a fucking gang to talk to one guy.
It's that one like scene in a horror movie where the movements are slowed and you're just walking in all cool with the sunglasses.
Epitome of sup, little bitch.
Um, as you guys sit down, he sort of plops down and looks around. Right, of course. And for you at home, if you guys, I guess you in the on the table would like to hear the song that's currently playing in the opera house. And I'll go ahead and get this pulled up on stream as well. Chat maybe just loud for just a second.
These Kindred and their theming.
Exactly. It does quiet down. It doesn't go completely silent, but definitely goes to a lower volume where you guys can able to have a conversation and it sort of be picked up throughout the rest of the room. What X sort of looks at the group of you. Well, you wanted in on the business. I wasn't expecting this is how you had been introduced to said business.
Yeah, me either. I don't think that we realized that what was going on there was involved with you.
Yeah. Well, if I'm being completely honest, I'm just a face in the whole thing. Think me of a middle manager.
Fair enough. I'm going to gesture at the folks around the perimeter and say, they give you a mask, or that one of the perks to be in the face?
It's one of the perks of being the face. I get to show my face.
Got it.
Plus, those masks aren't really my sort of style. Sort of points down to his short button-up t-shirt and cargo shorts he's wearing.
It may surprise you to know that we had intended to dress up before we came to visit you.
Well, with your impression, I would not be surprised. But
So,
you guys are making big waves for my boss, and that becomes a very, very difficult thing.
I guess a question there is, are you the spider, or is that your boss?
That, and he doesn't even look to sort of look up and acknowledge. He sort of looks forward towards the opera at this point. That would be the gentleman sitting in the middle of the top upper area.
I'm trying to decide if Vincent would just like, but I think the answer is no.
If Vincent went to turn around, Riley would just kind of put a hand on his shoulder and just no.
Just stop.
Yep. Kind of just like by the side of the face and turn you back around. Just nope. Eyes on your own paper, bud.
Understood. So, you wanted to talk. I think you wanted to talk business.
I am purely just sending a olive branch. And probably not as it would seem. I'm sure that Mrs. Chen gave the impression that we were looking to make amends or apologize, but realistically, I'm here to urge you to be the ones to do so, as you have heavily impacted the spider's work.
I see. What would making amends look like to you and to your boss?
I think the easiest thing is replacement. Took
Replacing what?
the assets that were stolen.
I think we left all of the medical equipment there. We even left the gun.
The individuals that you've taken.
Ah.
And because of a process that is in place among our different facilities, a lot of that had to be discarded. Because we didn't know who or what was involved. So out of safety, we make sure that everything is wiped clean, including the stockpile that was saved up as well.
I think Vincent would like to look around at the group and see if anyone's doing a horrified expression at this conversation.
Julian's head is in his hands. You think you hear him mumbling, I'm dead.
We just talked about this, I swear to God.
Riley is wearing a face of abject indifference to everything that X has said. But they're going to insight the fuck out of everything X just said.
Fair and based.
Is there a DC that I would need for that one?
2.
Hey, look, we match it. Actually, I think that's a... Nah, it's a 2.
Damn, I love that for you. No, he seems very sincere. It definitely seems like any sort of stockpile that they had is completely gone as a safety precaution. It seems very much so. There are other ways to repay the favor, but replacing of the main assets that were taken and stolen would be a very big headway in alleviating some of this stress.
All right.
I think Charlie would think it's kind of like a joke. Like, she won't say it, but she's kind of sitting there like, oh, okay, yeah. We're gonna replace all those assets for you. It's not that hard to go find another bunch of humans. And, thin blood if you really want one.
I guess, as Vincent's looking around, he's gonna start saying, I guess, we might be interested in if there are other forms of payment plans for this particular debt.
Yeah, definitely doable. Some of you, and again, I'm just the mouthpiece, so please don't take anything I say as my own judgments or punishments or threats. But some of you were very easy to find in your own life. As far as data upon you, where you lived, who you're connected to.
don't know if there's a way to not take that as a direct threat.
Oh, I think it is, but I'm not the one to put it into motion, is what I was meaning to say, Riley.
I think Vincent would lean over and be like, "Yeah, it definitely is. It's a
Again,
Understood.
I'm just the mouthpiece of this whole conversation.
understood. I understand your role pretty thoroughly, but
I could be the Riley in this situation, if you will.
well,
Sure.
regardless, we obviously are not interested in furthering any sorts of tensions or bad blood. But I do think that what you're describing would require actively going against what seems to be the will of our Baron in his own home, and would put us at odds with people that would not do well for us long term. So, if there's another approach that we could take to help to make things whole, we would prefer.
How attached are you and your group to your Baron? And making sure you stay within his good graces.
I think we're all very attached to our heads.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I am. How old are we? It's like, I am less than 3 weeks old.
Right, exactly.
I am less than 3 weeks old and am not feeling like I understand where I might be able to bend that and break it without immediately dying.
What happens to the people long term? I mean, is this their life for the rest of their life, or is it like they're on the pumps for 3 months and then they're set loose? I guess I'm just trying to have an understanding of if there's like we can do what you want and still like feel good about ourselves at the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't have that much overhead knowledge on the grand scale of the conversation. I know our portion of the operation, it took a long time to get there, and even so, it took us about a month to get these assets in place, and we've only been in operation for 2, maybe 3 months. So I don't know how long the boss plans on having them hooked up, but it didn't seem like it was forever. But I can't guarantee you one way or the other, because we were still very new in this operation.
I mean, is there room for us to negotiate that and say, hey, if we can get them off the machines in 3 months, we can make that happen? I'm not trying to to cause trouble. I'm just, if we're gonna take this kind of risk and be able to sleep with our at night or during the day, you know what I mean? I would like to think that we weren't condemning these people to this kind of fate forever. And I know there's worse fates, but that seemed pretty goddamn bleak.
It may be, but it doesn't necessarily differ than what the bleak of the mortal world is to one another as itself. People go missing and sold in different countries all the time.
I know. I don't want to look at myself as a human trafficker. Short-term kidnapper, maybe.
I mean, in theory, that's all you're doing, and that's all you would be associated with. As everything else is happening on someone else's clock.
Yeah.
And that's at least how I sleep with it.
I mean, is there like a cash value?
Per asset?
We could zero this debt for a certain dollar amount. And if you're gonna say some ludicrously large number, and I'm going to pretend like my jaw didn't hit the floor, but go ahead.
Yeah, the asset that was one of us, I think, was priced at 250,000, and each person in between was 75K.
Light work.
That's a lot of money.
It's a very lucrative industry, and people pay very good money for this sort of quality.
So there was something special about the mortals.
They had properties to them that they were looking for. There's different types of resonance that goes into blood depending on their mood that they're in. And some people have heightened of resonances within their blood, which makes the blood taste different or react differently when you consume it. And so someone who may really want a high resonance of some melancholy that goes with it pay very top dollar to have that high tier, or people that need blood with different assets included will also pay high price for that.
That
Just
makes
because
sense
someone
why you're
dies
so
doesn't mean they become
expensive.
any less of an addict.
It's insane that Fairfield just fed those people to his lackeys.
He did what?
Oh, sorry.
Are
Yep.
you looking
I'm gonna.
for the specific individual assets?
I mean, that would have been easiest, but a warm body is a warm body, in my opinion. And I'm gonna be honest and shoot straight with you. I don't like having to do a lot of work. Right?
No.
Fair enough.
Dex gives you a look, Riley. And looks towards the rest of the group. I have set up my life in a very comfortable position to be able to do what I need to get done and live the lifestyle I want to get. And if I can live in that sort of place where it is peaceful to me, I get to have all of eternity to do what I want. I'm sure some of you can resonate with that. This was that operation for me until you guys unfortunately walked into it. And hear me, I'm not mad about it. It was bound to happen eventually. But they make sure to take a moment to stop and watch the opera for a few beats. But continue to have the conversation as his face is turned away from the spider. The spider's a very, very strict and ruthless individual. You guys know the term swatting?
Swatting?
Yeah, swatting.
Like
Like the prank
thing.
that they do for relatively larger. Think about that, but with SI at your house while you're sleeping. That's what this guy does for fun.
I guess can I think that I'm picking up on something. So can I roll? Is he turning his face away so that his lips don't get red?
Correct.
Okay.
Definitely trying to give this conversation some privacy in that sort of capacity, and trying to make sure that some bits of the conversation can have from anarch to anarch type of play to it.
I think that Vincent is gonna adjust how he's sitting and like sit back a little bit so that he's looking towards the opera as well and say, if this guy's so scary, why doesn't he just get rid of Fairfield and do whatever he wants?
I think Fairfield's just learning of him.
Yeah, same question. He had the element of surprise and everything.
I think because he's in a position where he's happy where things are. And if you remove a piece, then who knows who takes that seat. It's very much the game of chess for him. He knows what pieces are on the board. And so if you take a piece, a pawn off the board, once you put it to the end, it's hard to tell what piece that hops onto the board afterwards. And the last time a piece was taken off the board, we gained a Toreador who shot up out of nowhere, and before that we gained a Bruja who took down entire Camarilla. So I'm sort of terrified at what comes next. And I think he might be more comfortable knowing what pieces are on the board and how he can manipulate the pieces.
I'm going to look back towards X and say, so I think I'm understanding that you're saying that the only way to pay this debt is with people. And maybe a thin blood?
People, money, or working for the spider. As he turns back towards you.
You said 250,000 plus, what's that, another 425,000? No, 375,000 in cash. So that's a lot.
Yeah.
Any details on the work?
Yeah, you're gonna
Running-
be employed. Kidnapping people.
Exactly. Running different positions of the job, whether that's kidnapping, whether it's running and maintaining the facilities, or protecting the facilities.
But it wouldn't involve picking out people off the street.
Not typically. That's sort of... There's a select group of people that they have trained to sniff out the resonances that they're looking for. So unless one of you could contain that capability, then I don't think there's a hound among you that can maybe sniff that out.
Do you need an answer today?
I would probably have one before this opera's over. And last I checked, he pulls out a small program. You have roughly about 3 hours left.
Other than not dying, what's in it for us?
Well, I will say, on good news, I don't think he would kill you if you guys declined. But everyone you found near or dear to you would. So you could live through that knowing that you caused what you caused. So, there's that. But your life wouldn't be ending. I mean, if you worked for the spider, you get some... There's some perks to go with it. But, I mean, otherwise, it's just getting out of his web.
That's a hell of a place to end a sentence. There's perks. Or you die. What are the perks, X? What are you holding?
Get paid, get status, get blood of very high quality. Everything pretty much minus a 401k.
Would we have the opportunity to discuss this in private?
I think the most private that you'd be able to get is facing forward.
Yeah, but like,
I can guarantee you that no one is. I don't know how much you know, but there are some capabilities that heighten senses. Um, while he is ruthless, he is fair. And that if you need privacy, he's not going to have any of his individuals peek in on a conversation.
okay, but like, would we have to move to the next section over, or
No,
like,
you guys could. I could leave here and leave the section to you guys. He would increase the volume so that way it'd be more difficult to hear you.
You're not my dad.
Thank goodness. Sorry, I'm pulling up the stream. Just make sure that we're good. Hey, we're
Still
back.
goes.
Try refreshing if anyone who's watching. I believe we're back though. Hi, sorry, OBS went down. So we are picking up where we had left off with X not giving it to you, but instead leaving the vicinity and heading towards the upper balcony area.
Vincent's gonna turn and look forward and go, "This guy sucks."
With
Yeah.
the spider? Yeah.
X is a huge tool. Looking
Are we
towards the
talking
stage.
about X or are we talking about the spider?
I was talking about X.
I'm kind of both. Oh yeah, he was looking forward because I think that somebody behind us was reading lips.
Oh, probably the spooky guy on the top floor that he was talking about.
Or like any of the guards.
Yeah, also true.
At this point, the music begins to pick up as soon as X gets up there and has a small conversation with the spider, and then the spider just raises his hand up, and the opera begins to raise up.
So yeah,
Certainly has the feel of the kind of thing that is gonna turn into another. It's one thing that's gonna turn into another thing, and we're gonna find ourselves deeply indebted doing this forever. That's how it feels to me.
we don't want to be in his pocket.
Nope. Like the
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but kidnapping sounds like our best option.
I mean, don't. This is a weird thing to sort of ask, but like, could we get together? What was it? $600 something thousand?
I mean, if I leveraged everything I owned, cashed out all of my retirement funds, I might be able to pull together 420, but then I'm
nice.
absolutely broke.
I think I might be with the kidnapping idea. I mean, I'd rather do some really horrible things for a couple days, get it over with, than do a lot of horrible things for a really indeterminate amount of time.
I was asking about the money because that seems like the cleanest way out.
It does. How do we feel about less than savory means of acquiring said money?
I mean, is it going to create more problems in the long run? I can't imagine attaining that kind of cash. Is it going to come without baggage?
I mean, I have some savings too. I can't get all the way there, but out of character, I've got 3 dots in resources. I can do some of it.
Me too.
Yeah. How many total dots of resources is that?
Holy
Cash 'em
shit
up.
balls.
Yeah.
Be 5
And is that
dollars.
5 that will
Five.
recover slowly, or 5 deleted from your sheet?
You would go ahead if you wanted to do resources wise. You would drop down your resources, which would then, because resources is a bunch of different things, right? House, car, not necessarily house, but any extra houses that aren't your havens, cars, assets you have would be gone, and then over time you would regain those resources back without having to pay the extra experience to regain them. But you would be without them for a significant piece of time.
I can chip towards it just for what I have in assets in my name. But,
I can
mean,
too, but I don't want to pay a dime to this guy.
feels very extortiony, which it absolutely is.
Oh, 100%. But the options put in front of us are work for him forever, pay him a whole boatload of cash, kidnap some people to replace the stuff we stole, or have him kill everyone we love.
So
How about robbing a bank?
I like where your head's at, Kenny.
I am not equipped to rob a bank. And if you look at traditional bank hauls, unless we're getting inside the safe, we're looking at clearing maybe $60,000.
Put
So
this
we'd have
out
to
there.
rob a whole lot of banks.
I think we talked about this, maybe just briefly in passing. I wouldn't say kidnapping is what I did in my previous employ, but light abduction work is definitely in my resume. So I mean, I have a skill set for it, at least when it comes to mortals.
It's unsavory for sure, but because I get the feeling that if we say we're going to pay him cash, the hand's going to be out. Like, okay,
Like, let's go.
we may not have time to put together a bank heist.
What if
I think the cash is cleanest. Kidnapping or working for this guy, it's immediately going to be in conflict with the Baron.
That's why we can't get caught.
Oh, he also told us we have 3 hours before the end of the show
Right, to give him a
Decide, right?
to decide. That's 3 hours that one of us can run down there and go, hey, hi, this is what's going on. No time to discuss it. Love you, bye.
I didn't bring a car, which I'm now feeling was pretty stupid.
And
Yeah.
I'm also feeling like we're going to be followed until we take care of this.
Yeah.
I don't think we're off the leash once we leave here.
I mean, going back to the extortion angle, there is an element of this that says that no matter which version of this we choose to let him push us into, we're telling him that we can be pushed around.
We can be pushed around.
That's the
Yeah,
hard
I
part.
I think
I appreciate that, but I guess what I'm saying is there isn't necessarily a version of this that doesn't lead to this happening again next week.
Fair,
Yeah,
but
I
until
guess-
I don't know. Until we have the capability to put a stop to him,
So,
Well, maybe we don't have the capabilities, but other people do. So if some of us work for him, be the moles per se, and let Fairfield or Frank figure it out.
can we see if we can negotiate the thin blood out of it and maybe grab 2 extra people to compensate? Because
what did he
like
say
that's
they were worth, so we'd need to grab 3. And even then, they're going to be lower quality because we don't know how to sniff out the good stuff.
So, what if we negotiate for the mortals over the thin blood? Give us put us with a sniffer, whatever the hell you want to call them. Have them pick their targets and let us do the work. Because
I mean, okay, let's just take a preliminary vote. Who's on board with the kidnapping angle?
I mean,
I'm gonna say yes.
I'm gonna be
But-
frankly honest. I'm not on board for any of it.
I don't think any of us
You guys
are on
do what
board
you
for
gotta
any
do.
of it.
So
I don't
you're
think you could just
gonna
abstain
let us
from
twist? Yeah, you're gonna leave it all on us?
No, I mean I'll help you, but like you said, I don't want to be. If it's gonna happen this week, it's gonna happen next week. It's gonna happen the week after. So why not have somebody come and assist to get rid of these two people who are controlling everything?
We appease once, we get the bigger guns involved after.
I'm looking at this from like the perspective of crime. We don't even know who that person is, other than a name. We've got no face, no clue where to send them. That may not. Chances are the person sitting up there in the balcony isn't even the spider. It's just some
Okay.
asshole they pulled off the street and sat in a chair.
I don't think we should
Right.
be pointing.
So what I'm saying is we can get the big guns involved and everybody we love dies because they're not going to be able to protect them. They're not going to care enough to protect them. They're going to want to stop the spider. That's going to be their goal. Not to
Okay.
keep us safe.
So
we gotta
again,
put
that's
our
a
own bread.
threat. I'm not saying that they can't find our loved ones. I'm just saying maybe that's a bluff.
I don't get the impression, if X is being honest, I don't get the impression that this guy bluffs.
Does
Yes,
it
I-
seem like any part of this has been an honest conversation in a sense?
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I get the feeling
He's-
that X is being pretty forthcoming with us.
He's a huge bitch, but he's not a liar.
Right. I'm saying the job, the overall, not just him in this
If
conversation.
we believe
Oh.
X that he's tough but fair, if we make an agreement, say we want to do this and wash our hands, pay our debt and go our separate ways, then if X is to be believed, then yes, we won't have to worry about the knock on the door and another job coming our way.
Do you believe that?
I don't know, but here's the thing. I'm not willing to risk the life of my loved ones on being wrong. Like, I can think that, oh, no way they're going to do that, but if my daughter's head shows up in a box on my front door, that's not something I'm going to recover from.
Right. I don't want that to happen to you. I'm
No.
not saying, Julian, that that's what I want at all. I think if we're going to make something of ourselves and get stuff done, then we have to go and do a job that we might not necessarily want to do. And that's work for him to get to this spider person, even if it's not the person behind us.
So you're saying take the jobs, monitor the labs? That's your vote?
Potentially.
Gives
Marlo?
us some interesting.
I think we don't have a lot of options because we screwed up our last job so royally, right? The Barons, we didn't do anything the Baron wanted done. We pissed the Baron off. We didn't even manage to make the Thin Bloods happy. We pissed them off. So I don't think we have a big gun that's going to come in here and take us seriously. Personally, I think if we could get together the cash and pay it out, that's the cleanest, right? That's just sort of, yeah, we screwed up. Here's the money. Be done with it. And if we want to work for them, if we want to explore working for them, then I think we need to do that coming from a, we don't owe you shit, but we'll explore the opportunity.
I think
So
we're
you're
To be
saying
clear,
pay them? Oh yeah, go ahead.
to be clear, I will help to pick people up off of the street. That is not a thing that I have a particular problem with, but I would prefer to pay them.
I would go that way. I can contribute monetarily towards that.
Okay, everybody, check your bank accounts and let's see how much liquid you have, so we can determine what we're looking at here.
Above the table, I can contribute a dot.
Same.
Same.
So that's 3.
Arlo?
Well, I could do 2 dots.
Well, if we all do
Oh.
1, that puts us at the 5 we need.
With 1 extra.
That's not.
Yeah.
With the 1
Do,
extra.
do
that's
we
true.
do we include the 1 extra as like now we're square, here's interest, like buy?
No.
No, we pay him what he asked
No.
for.
Okay, just making sure.
I mean, that I don't think we need to give him any more than he's asking for.
That's
So,
fair.
I actually sort of like that.
What, overpaying and being like, there we go,
Yeah.
for the hassle, boom, we're done.
I guess it also makes it cleaner from the perspective of one person doesn't get away without paying.
I mean, there
Pay
is
for
that,
something
but
else
I
later.
just I think it's a if we're trying to establish ourselves
Good
as
faith.
people that are serious,
Mhm.
right? It's we own the mistake, we pay up more than they're asking because we're doing a square deal, right?
Or it seems like we're more of a pushover than we need to be.
I think that comes from how we present it.
I agree.
If it's like, hi, here's extra, please don't bother us again, then we look like we're running away tails tucked. If we present it in, hi, we understand the inconvenience, so here's a little extra, apologies, we're square. You know what I mean? Like, it's the presentation of it.
I think I
And
could
I-
deliver that.
I think.
Yeah,
you
I think
could-
it all depends on presentation. So
I
could
think
either
that's
read weak if it's presented wrong, but strong. Like we fucked up. Here's a little extra for your trouble.
yeah. Lose my number.
Tell me how you found all the people that I care about. Sounds like we need to go throw some branches over some trails.
Yeah. That answers the question for me, though. Am I dead or not? You know what I mean?
No, so yes, you are. I guess I'm not sure.
Well, just
you
on
lost
how do I cover up some trails? Am I dead or not?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can get some fake ID. A little harder for me.
Yeah. Why'd you have to go and be like famous and shit?
Quasi famous, not even.
Oh,
famous.
niche micro
I
internet
am.
celebrity.
I am obscurely famous.
Nobody knows who I am, but I have 2 million YouTube subscribers.
Hey, when you go viral and you end up on Inside Edition, things happen.
Inside Edition or Insight Edition?
Well, Inside Edition.
Okay.
But I do like. See, where were you? Should have been my PR flack back in the day.
Well, let's get some new names and we can rebrand you and then start it over. But that's an issue for next month.
Yeah. Let's, is there any way we can get X's attention since we kind of seem to have a plan in place here?
How would you like to do that?
I'll do it.
Who's
I'm
gonna
gonna
do it?
stand up and I'm gonna stand up and turn around and look at the back of the room. Is X back there?
Yeah, sitting right next to the spider.
All right. Just gonna look at him and go.
The spider sort of leans their head over. And even though they have most of the mask covering, they say a few words. And then sat back up and put their hand up again, and the volume begins to sort of descend down to a more public
If there was a
level.
way I could have made that explicitly clear that it was at X and not the spider.
You looked in that general direction, sort of like, what the hell? And just sort of.
Yeah, that's fair. Nope, I earned that one. My need to be an asshole to X.
Yep.
I guess I'd like to stand up and turn around too. Again, like just trying to get a look at the spider, who I'm imagining is in very deep shadow.
Yeah, not purposely. But it is just darker in that portion. Like the sets of lights are turned off to enjoy the opera. Not like they're purposely like light bulbs are unscrewed or anything of that nature. It's just like down to an actual reasonable level compared to the lower section, which is sort of has house lights raised up a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm envisioning like a little bit of a view of the shoulder and like maybe like one other piece of the outfit, and then otherwise a person from the shadowy council.
It's Shia LaBeouf from the end of actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf. When the camera pans to him and it's like just his eyes.
That's exactly it. Except it's just a mask, so it's not
Yes.
even helpful.
Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf the spider?
Not the spider. But a few moments later, X descends back down to your level. It sort of sits down and looks forward.
I think I'd like to try to be in the row in front of where he's sitting so that I can be facing backwards and like explicitly have my mouth be visible while I'm talking to him.
Sure.
So we talked about the options. I'm assuming that they were all options. We'd like to pay you. We'd like to go with the monetary version of this.
Fantastic. That works. Are you
were-
liquid now, or do you need some time to pull together the funds?
Well, let me talk about a figure first,
Sure.
because we were under the impression that it was. I'm doing some shaky math here. So was it 5 people times 75,000? So 375.
Correct. And then 1 thin blood.
So total of 625.
Correct.
So would all of us putting in a dot get us to a nice round 7?
Yes.
Okay. It'll take us a little bit, but we wanted to talk about figures first because we're aware that this wasn't your first choice, and we're aware that we may have started our relationship off on the wrong foot. We want to address that. So we would like to, instead of the 625 that the math tells us, we'd like to actually give you 7, with the understanding that this would be the end of this particular negotiation, and that we're amenable to having conversations in the future, but when we do, they come from a position of people who can help, people who are perhaps even willing to help, people who are more likely to help without the threat of having people that we care about disappear over their head. Do we think that that's a thing that we would be able to agree on? We'll stay out of your way. We won't interfere again. We didn't know we were interfering the first time. But we'd like to offer a tip to hope that we can leave as at least friendly acquaintances.
I'll even smile a little bit.
And as I am saying that, I am going to look up towards the balcony and just offer a little nod, and then turn my attention back to X.
X stops for a moment. I think that's a very wise choice. Not that I think he would continue hounding as if this meeting didn't happen. but it does put you guys in a better standing. And I did let him know previous to this meeting that you guys were a noob, and sort of gave him some of the sort of background information on some of the more anarch things that have been going on as far as the night of when you guys were all embraced. So again, he's extreme sometimes, but I do believe he's fair.
Well, we appreciate your advocacy. I understand that people in their position might have enough going on that it's difficult for them to keep track of all the various situations that people might be in. So I appreciate your adding some clarity there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't really like to be fucked with if I don't have to be. And if I can provide some context that hopefully gets him off my back, then all the better for everyone, I think.
All the better for everyone.
But I will go ahead and let him know as well that you guys are paying it forward, as it were. And Vince, I know you had some interests in our organization, but I think that it could be very plausible for you to join the ranks if you would still be interested in.
I'd love to have an opportunity to talk about it further. I think that there's that and some other matters that I might want to discuss business with you and whoever would be willing to give me the time. Again, glancing up towards the balcony and then back to X.
Yeah, I think that could be beneficial. I'll discuss with X, discuss with the Spider, see if he's be available to discuss that. If you don't mind, I'll go have that conversation now while he's in town, and then we can see where we go from here. Yes.
I appreciate that. And I think that if that concludes our business, we might appreciate a ride back to where we were picked up.
Yeah, let me go talk to the Spider real quick, and then we can call business adjourned.
Perfect.
Goes
Shame
up.
to miss the rest of the opera, but
Understandable. It's not my shtick either. He goes ahead and excuses himself and heads up to the Spider once more.
turn around, sit back down. Well, hopefully that doesn't blow up in our face.
I think we did the best we could.
A few moments later, X descends back down the stairs. He wanted to know if it was just going to be Vincent that would be interested, or if any of you also would be interested in working for us. And it doesn't have to be of the extreme variety of going kidnapping. It could be with sales, it could be with product, it could be with a couple of different options. But if anyone else is interested, he's interested to have this sit down right now to get this done.
Be happy to hear him out.
I could be interested.
I think I'll wait in the car.
Understood.
I would like to hear him out.
Great. He goes up and gives a thumbs up. Julian, Mrs. Chen will actually go ahead and begin to escort you out to the cars.
I'll follow Julian too. I'll
Okay.
probably.
Both of you guys will go ahead and exit out of the Marat Theater. As he begins to step down, and the opera begins to play at a very, very soft level. As the Spider stands before you.
So, what is it that you would like to talk about?
Fucking knew it.
And that is where we'll go ahead and wrap up for tonight's session.
That's why Julian left.
Get Julian back in here.
Get Julian in here. He's not allowed to be gone. We've all done it.
I'm liking it.
We've all had these scenes. Get Julian back in here.
Nope. I'm in the car with Miss Jen.
Which also is one of Justin's
that's great.
characters.
This is why you're all dressed up. You knew you were going to meet a lady tonight. I knew it.
But thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. Really do appreciate it. This again was episode 16, The Fruits of Our Labor. And we will go ahead and see you guys next week on another episode of